The arraignment of Nicolas Maduro on drug and gun charges in New York City marks a dramatic escalation in the long-standing conflict between the United States and the Venezuelan regime. This legal proceeding, initiated by indictments unsealed several years ago, represents a significant step in holding Maduro and his inner circle accountable for alleged criminal activities that extend far beyond Venezuela's borders. The optics alone, a sitting president in prison garb, are devastating for the Maduro regime and a powerful symbol of its international isolation. The charges against Maduro are deeply rooted in a history of alleged corruption and illicit activity. For years, the U.S. Justice Department has been building a case against Maduro, accusing him of turning Venezuela into a narco-state. The indictments allege that Maduro and other high-ranking Venezuelan officials conspired with the Revolutionary Armed Forces of Colombia, FARC, a designated terrorist organization, to flood the United States with cocaine. Specifically, Maduro is accused of leading the Cartel of the Suns, a drug trafficking organization composed of Venezuelan military officials. The gun charges likely stem from the illegal acquisition and distribution of weapons used to protect these drug trafficking operations and suppress dissent within Venezuela. To understand the gravity of these charges, one must consider the broader context of U.S.-Venezuelan relations. The relationship, once relatively stable due to Venezuela's oil exports, deteriorated sharply under Hugo Chavez and further declined under Maduro. Chavez's socialist policies and anti-American rhetoric strained ties, but it was Maduro's increasingly authoritarian rule and alleged involvement in criminal activity that led to the current crisis. The U.S. has imposed numerous sanctions on Venezuela, targeting Maduro and other officials, in an effort to pressure the regime to restore democracy and end human rights abuses. These sanctions, coupled with internal mismanagement, have crippled the Venezuelan economy, leading to widespread poverty, hyperinflation, and a mass exodus of Venezuelans. The legal proceedings against Maduro are not without precedent. The U.S. has a history of indicting and even arresting foreign leaders on drug trafficking charges, most notably Manuel Noriega of Panama. However, the Maduro case is unique in its scale and complexity. Maduro is the sitting president of a nation, albeit one whose legitimacy is contested by the U.S. and many other countries. The indictment raises complex questions about international law, sovereign immunity, and the limits of U.S. jurisdiction. Furthermore, the timing of Maduro's capture and arraignment is crucial. The U.S. has been engaged in various attempts to negotiate a peaceful resolution to the Venezuelan crisis, often working with other countries and international organizations. The legal action against Maduro could complicate these efforts, as it further hardens the regime's position and makes any negotiated settlement more difficult. However, it also sends a clear message that the U.S. is serious about holding Maduro accountable and that impunity for criminal activity will not be tolerated. The arraignment and the subsequent legal battle will undoubtedly have significant implications for Venezuela's future. If Maduro is convicted, it would likely trigger a power vacuum in Venezuela, potentially leading to further instability and violence. However, it could also create an opportunity for a transition to democracy and the restoration of the rule of law. Even if Maduro is not convicted, the legal proceedings will expose the extent of the regime's corruption and criminal activity, further eroding its legitimacy and support both domestically and internationally. In conclusion, the arraignment of Nicolas Maduro on drug and gun charges represents a watershed moment in the U.S.-Venezuelan relationship. It is the culmination of years of investigation and reflects the U.S. government's determination to hold Maduro accountable for his alleged crimes. While the legal proceedings are complex and the outcome uncertain, they are sure to have a profound impact on Venezuela's future and the broader geopolitical landscape. The implications for U.S. foreign policy, international law, and the future of democracy in Venezuela are significant and warrant close observation.